In a world ruled by deception, where justice bends to power and truth is buried beneath corruption, one wolf stands against the machine. In these hallowed halls, where freedom was meant to flourish, the innocent cry out, while the guilty feast. But when the Constitution calls, when the Bill of Rights awakens, when the Declaration of Independence burns with divine fire, enough is enough. The transformation begins. Freedom isn't given, it's taken. Bad Wolf Unincorporated. Bad Wolf Unrestricted. Join the pack and run free. Don't tread on me.
What's going on, guys? It is the Bad Wolf. Welcome to Monday night unexpected drop in and on you Bad Wolf Show. Let's get into it. Let's see. We already got some people already watching. All right. This was not a planned necessarily event, though I was thinking all day, you know what? Why not? Let's just jump in and see what's good. So as always, guys, introduce yourselves on the way in. Hit that bell, like, and subscribe. And welcome to the tribe. The truth will not be denied. Just getting on a little early. It's probably only going to be about maybe an hour and a half, something like that. Just want to kind of touch base with everybody and wish you guys well. And let you know that I will also be going on my holiday, as people like to say. So, yeah, just wanted to jump out here and see what's good. So hold on, let's see here. All right. Is that Albert? What's going on, sir? Good to see you. It's been a while. 4566. Good evening. We got West Virginia, I believe, in the house. Come on, get the likes up. Appreciate that. First time catching a live. All right. Immutable. Appreciate you. 9154. What's good? Let's see what else we got here. Okay, you're from Sacramento, Cali. All right. California State. Californian in the house. Appreciate you. What's going on, Power God? Always good to see you. It's been a hot minute. Buffalo, New York is in the house. All right. So I was going to title this video or live non-resident registration, and I was going to have you guys go and take a look and find your non-resident registration code. All right. But I figure if you guys want to share that information, you can. I'm not going to make it like a big thing because I did a lot of videos on almost every state. But if you guys have a state and you need help, bang it in the comment section. We'll see what we can find right here, right now. Though I did a lot of them already in my normal videos. After this, like I said, I've already showed you guys how to find yours in the videos. Oh, I appreciate you too, Miss Lady. Thank you. Appreciate you. Box State, baby. All right. Mystery 7675. Devon from Chi-Town. Okay. Right around the corner. I really enjoyed your mindset, Deshaun Jones. Hey, appreciate you, brother, as well, man. It takes one to know one. All right. A lot of people can't appreciate somebody speaking, we'll just say level 5 information if you're rocking level 1, 2, or 3 boots. Okay. If you're on level 4, you're starting to feel it. So you're right up in there. But a lot of people on their path, and this is not a disrespect, they can't see you. They're not on the same vibration. They're not even close. Now, twice within the last month, I dealt with giving some younger people advice, and they couldn't hear me whatsoever. But it was also because one was 37, and he's my cousin, and the other one was a young lady, 19 or 20, and kind of felt like they have an understanding of the whole world already. Now, when I was their age, I felt kind of the same way, but the difference is I always kept my mindset open, because if you're older than me, you've seen and been through a whole lot more. So why would I run across a minefield when you already been through the minefield and you know where the mines are? I don't want to find the mines. I want to know about them, avoid them. So why would I want to do all the hard work when other people have done it for me? So I don't have any problem, but I can also learn from somebody my age or younger. I'm not that way. I'll sit down and listen to anybody. What's going on, Mr. New Yorker? Appreciate you. Georgia Republic in the house. I am Cross. NC in the house. How's your night going? So far, pretty good. Pretty good. Just got done doing some consultations for the day. That went really well. I think we did like 4 today. I'm going to be doing about 1 or 2 more weeks worth of consults, and then I'm going to be on vacation. It's my yearly end of the year wind down. Colorado. We have a Coloradan in the house. Washington, D.C. Okay. You and the family too. Chilling in the District of Columbia, the belly of the beast. Maryland Republic. Yes. Hey, from Brookfield, Wisconsin. Okay. I see you, Miss Lady. I see you. I don't think I've seen you in the live before, but welcome to the fam. Wisconsinite. We can all learn. See, that's the big thing that I've learned. We're just going to kind of freestyle this live for the next hour. Whatever pops up is cool. We're just going to talk about some random things. I learn from everybody. Poor, rich, black, white, gay, straight, Arabic, Chinese. I don't put a limit on any of that. Now, if you as an individual are just trash, then but see, I can even learn from trash people. I can learn what not to do. I listen to people who fuck up all the time. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what your thought process was. Okay, so that's how you got here, huh? All right. And I'll try to give them some advice on how to get out of that position or do better. Most of the time, they don't want it. So I almost never just volunteer my knowledge to people anymore unless somebody asks me or to do a favor or something like that. Then I'll help, you know. Other than that, I just keep my knowledge to myself, make my shows. Speaking of my shows, if you guys have not heard or joined me on Bad Wolf Unrestricted, which is my other YouTube channel, I combined 1 or 2 of the other ones into that one. So it's Bad Wolf Unlimited and Bad Wolf Unrestricted on YouTube. And some of y'all may love me over there, some of y'all may not. But I'm just on that other channel. I get to talk about all the things that I can't really talk about on my main channel. All right, so some of it is I go in deep. There's no love lost over there. You know what I mean? So we getting it in. So let's take a look at the comments. Introduce yourselves. If you guys have a group in your state and you want to share your Facebook, put it on here. Be careful of sharing anything too personal because this goes out to everybody for all of time and immemorial. But let's see what we got here. We got a Virginian in the house. I was actually thinking of moving to Virginia in all aspects. That or Arizona or New Mexico, one of the two. All right, so Honest Gabe says, anyone who hasn't paid taxes, I sent a handwritten letter to the IRS with my social saying I have 0 tax liability. They always respond and confirm. So yes, that is part of what. Now, if you've gotten just the results and they left you alone from just that, that is fire, okay? Generally, we do the same thing, but with a 15103, which is the true revocation of election, all right? So, but yes, those are the methods to the madness, because they have a right to ask a U.S. citizen who is operating as a U.S. citizen to pay taxes. It's not a scam. That's a fact by law. Congress gave them the ability to tax within their own jurisdiction. Sorry if I keep looking up like this. It's just because I've got a big screen TV, so I see myself bigger over here than my computer. So I look like I'm like, Stevie Wonder. But they have a right to tax if you're doing something taxable. Now, under the IRS code, which is in the IRS manual 25.1.1.3.3, tax avoidance, if you pre-plan your event to not have to pay tax, you can't just say, I'm done with it, and then just do nothing. You contract it in, you have to contract out. But when you give them that information, yeah, it's a wrap. Depending on what the current president does, he may be trying to fold them up anyway, because he knows that what they're doing is robbery. It's unconstitutional to a degree because they're tricking people into paying. But from their perspective, they're saying, we're not tricking people. People are making their own voluntary election. Don't believe me? Go on YouTube and type in Congress, taxes are optional. Even my girl didn't believe me. I showed her the video. In Congress, they said, we have to thank the American people for making an election to pay taxes. It's voluntary for nationals, not for U.S. citizens. And remember, we have both sides. So depending on how you communicate your information to your HR department or where you work, you may or may not have to pay taxes. If you don't say nothing, you got to pay. You give them the right paperwork, you don't have to pay. But each state, because there's a difference, that's federal taxes, you may have to uncontract out of your state's taxes. And they are the dirtbag some of them bitches, because a lot of them, it's not universal that if you're exempt on the federal level, you're exempt on the state level. It's not how it works. So look up your own laws or learn how to contract out of your state's tax obligation properly. Okay. I've heard of that one, but I don't know if I have that one. I want to say somebody told me about it. I don't remember if I actually got it. It might be on my Amazon wish list. But hey, I do accept donations of books and all kind of other things. So if you want that, email me and I'll give you my P.O. box and you guys can send me books. And nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. I just got on your Patreon. Well, I thank you for that, Albert. My Patreon is a little shabby, so it's mostly just if people want to support. There's not a whole lot of materials up there. I haven't had time. And until recently, my internet connection was probably the slowest you could ever get. I mean, whatever the fastest over dial-up was probably what I had, because they would not let me get anything fast. So I'm going to try to get some files up there now, because now a gig takes seconds. Whereas before it was like, well, I guess I'll see this on the internet tomorrow afternoon next week. So, but Albert, appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for supporting me on Patreon. Ozaki. Okay. Okay. You know, I've been seeing a couple people in the Midwest lately. It's kind of funny. Most of the Midwest people be chill as shit. They be like, I'm just going to watch. I ain't going to be saying nothing. Everybody else be like, yeah, I'm over here. What's going on, Maine? Maine is nice. Isn't it cold though? I heard it's really cold. I'm already in the Midwest, so it's I don't want to get any colder. I want some warmth on my bones. What's number doc you use? Plain and simple, what number doc you use? For what? That's very open. I've got a lot of documents, a lot of numbers. Honest Gabe, give me a little bit more information. Love and peace. What's going on? What's going on? 7107. Yes, Jason. From our perspective, it is definitely fraud. It is definitely fraud what they've done. They are at war with us. It's a quiet, but it's a silent weapons for a quiet war. That's exactly what they're doing. Legally, I have to look at things from their perspective, because when I do attack them or challenge them in court, I have to negate how they're going to try to say it's not fraud. Of course, I'm on your guys' side. Hell, I built half this crazy shit that I've given you guys, and in attempts to beat them at their own game. So from their perspective, they would say, well, we didn't knock on your door. You guys just made it an election. You should have asked us. You guys should have found an expert in tax law, which we know is crap because they would have lied to us too. What are your other channels? I'm sorry I didn't get those. Most of my stuff should always be at the bottom of the ticker tape here, going along the bottom. But the new channel on YouTube is called Bad Wolf Unrestricted. All right. So I'll probably have to change some of the stuff down here. Looks like this could be updated because my spread shop, that's kind of old, still good. But so yeah, I'll go through the ticker tape at some point and I'll update it. But yeah, it's Bad Wolf Unrestricted on YouTube. Yeah, like see here, it says Bad Wolf Media Channel. Now we changed it from Media Channel to Unrestricted. That way we talk about everything. So we'll get that together. We pay tax each time we make a purchase. Yes. So Gabe, but that's a different type of commercial transaction because we're making a purchase from a grocery store that is licensed through the state as a franchise of the state, and the state can tax anybody underneath them as a franchise. But those places that we pay the taxes to, that does go to the local streets and things of that nature. So it's not horrible, but really they should be paying the taxes from the profits, but they're passing it on to us. And that is a bullshit. But that's what they're doing. So Troy says the form 15103 is a 1040 delinquency form. You sure that's the ROE form? My man, let me explain this to you. When I give you guys something to rock on, I'm as solid as Rock Gibraltar on top of, you know, a volcano, my man. It's solid. It's solidified. So what they did, and you have to learn how these people move. The 15103 is called the 1040 delinquency form. But if you look on the third section, it says, if you believe you do not have to pay taxes, input your information here. And I already have a video on that. So what they do is they call it a 1040 delinquency form because it sounds like what? You're delinquent. You're late to class. So it's just a 1040, you're late. No, they obfuscate all the information. They hide it underneath the 1040. So unless you're somebody like me who reads through every single one of their online forms and files, which makes my eyes hurt and bleed and cry in the inside, you wouldn't know that. Matter of fact, I seen that form and I looked over it countless times until I read every single detail. And I said, wait a minute. This is the proper form to do a revocation of election. The W8BN can go with that or be used separately, but this is what the IRS really wants. That's why on the W8BN, it says do not send to the IRS. That is just for your employer. But when you're dealing with the IRS, they want the 15103 filled out that way. How do I know that? Because they attacked me on my 2021 tax alleged debt this year, and I just beat them with that 1040. And believe it or not, on the bottom of their form, it says if you believe you do not have to pay taxes, use the 15103. Woo! So yes, sir, that is the right form. Fraud. Yes, yes. I'm with you, Jason. Devon, what's going on? Big C in the house with the 19. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Like I said, I'm not, see, just because y'all see me on YouTube does not mean like I'm like one of these, I have 500 or 200,000 subscribers. Like, next year, this time, I should be just about hitting my 100,000. And I'm going to put the plaque right there and dedicate it to all of you guys. I never even expected to get that or this far because they've been blocking me with everything else. So hey, I appreciate it. But once again, all we're doing is talking about your rights and freedoms under the Constitution, common law, private law, and these are your rights and freedoms and liberties. So, and understand this, they're not all bad. They're not all bad, but they also ain't really trying to be your friend either. I tried checking my status with USCIS. You verify page says self-check is down. Does that mean that you can't check your own citizenship status? Their system is always janky. I mean, it is so janky. It's almost like they're doing it on purpose. All right. MDJT, what's going on? Word, yes. Oh yeah, faux show. IRS doc for no tax. The IRS document for no tax is the 15103. It's called the 1040 delinquency form, but you have to fill out the third section, the first section and the third section, and then sign it or whatever else. But I have a video on YouTube, so you can type in James C. Lovett 15103, and then that's the one you want to do. Free man, what's going on, Frog Dog? It's been a while. I'm seeing some names I ain't seen in a while. How do you contract out? So you either with anything that you decide. Now, remember, you don't have to do all of these things to be tax exempt or private. You already have that as a birthright. Born in Florida, you're a Floridian. You have it. But your U.S. citizen, your public side, your ens legis, you signed your living name as the surety or trustee for the all caps legal 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, that ens legis, the legal person. You should have been putting your name, comma, beneficiary. You don't put anything behind it, and they can assume you're the trustee. So you're taking responsibility. It's actually their responsibility. That's what they don't want you guys to know. So how do you contract out? Either you need to close the account there with their closeout form, or inform you that you are revocating their implied license. You can create your own closeout form. You can go right to Chat GPT and say, draft me an IRS closeout form, canceling all contracts, all agreements, all assumed presumptions. I'm a 8 USC 1401 national. I operate and live in the private, and I'm closing my account with you. If you don't send them that letter, they can always assume, even though you're not telling them anything, that you're still a member of their group or fraternity or corporation. But remember, if that's the case, you need to then make sure that everywhere you use your social security number, you're indicating that you're a Floridian, a New Yorker, a Wisconsinite, a Californian, you're tax exempt, or have a tax exempt entity like a unincorporated association, a 508c1a, or a irrevocable trust, because otherwise you're going to do a taxable event. And you can be in Australia and doing something, and the moment that pops up, boom, you pulled money out of your 401k wrong or anything, boom, you're taxable. But we have methods to deal with that too. A lot of you guys have not checked out my Living in the Private videos. They are paid viewing on jamesclovett.com. Okay, so if you guys want the meat and potatoes of how to do certain things like tax exempt with your house and this, that, the other, or how to remove your house from the property tax rolls, how to have a firearm or arm privately, I can't put a lot of that stuff on the normal stuff for those reasons. But go to jamesclovett.com, and there are some free videos. There's some cheap ones on there. Most of them are reasonably priced, so you can check out that if you want deeper information. Zach Red 926 says, thank you for all that you do and clarifying as well as you do. I've been a member maybe 2 years now and learned so much from you. Surprisingly, this is the first live I've tuned into. All right. Hey, Zach, appreciate you, man. I'm assuming you're a man, person, living person, not an AI. But for real, no, I appreciate you. Appreciate all the support, you guys. I'm still humbled because you guys, like, literally over the last 40 years since I've been learning this stuff, and only about 15, almost 20 in the public, I've been sharing it now. Like, nobody wanted to learn this stuff. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to support. Everybody laughed. They're like, oh, you're not going to make it on YouTube. I said, I'm not trying to make it on YouTube. I just want to give a lot of information away and help people who want it. I'm not trying to be a big star like that. Why? So I can be bothered and harassed? No, I just want to give people, I want the stuff that I worked hard for to learn, winning in court since I was 19. I want you guys to be able to have those victories. Who would I be if I learned all this shit for 40 years and then I just like, well, I'm just going to keep it to myself and pass away one day with all this knowledge that everybody could help and be helped with and use and help each other. No, I'm not built that way, for real, like on the G, for real. That's not even how I move. Also in Wisconsin, south of Madison. Okay, all right. And more Midwesterns. All right, and Wisconsin. If I've been living in Washington State since 95 with a green card and I declare American and file a passport without becoming a U.S. citizen, can you file for that? Okay, so you can file for that, but that does not necessarily mean they're going to grant it, because usually they're going to want to see some type of document showing that you have the right. So if you've been here that long, you have lawfully, not legally, okay, well, I don't know. If you have a driver's license, you've been legally naturalizing as a U.S. citizen. You living in Washington State, I think it's called, what is you guys, Washingtonians, I think. So on the public side, if you have a driver's license and all that stuff, you've been slowly naturalizing as a U.S. citizen on the public side. You've been naturalizing on the lawful side as a Washingtonian. So you can make a declaration, okay, put all that information together, but still yet they may try to, if you're not married to a U.S. citizen or national, they're going to want to see some type of naturalization document. So though you can do that, they will probably deny it if you don't have a birth document stating that you have the right to that. So you have unenumerated rights because of what you just told me to apply. But if they deny you, you may have to sue them and say, I have a right based on these things. Because you being here since 95 on the private side gives you the ability to call yourself a Washingtonian, which under GPO Style Manual section 5.23 gives you some footing in the law. And then having U.S. driver's license, little bug, is you slowly naturalizing in the U.S. So that's called the physical presence test. So you'll still probably have to apply through the Department of Immigration to bring all that together. So I would do that part first, then apply for the passport, if it was me, educationally speaking. They haven't even looked at it, filed it 8 months ago. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of staff to cover all of the millions of people here. So, yeah, thank you, State National WV. Appreciate you. Car contract. They suing me, was supposed to respond, but I can just file an arbitration since it goes both ways and breach contract, right? Yes. Yes, you are correct. All ones. Yeah, we're going to come up to 11/11 2000. So, yeah, if you're an energy believer, then yes, 11s have power. But once again, that's kind of in gematria and whatever else. Some of y'all may not be into that, but stuff like that I'll be talking about on Bad Wolf Unrestricted. I try to keep my main channel very legal and court and taxes and that kind of stuff. But on Bad Wolf Unrestricted, my new YouTube channel, it's open game. So I'll talk about all that. So we got 87 people in here. We got 67 watching, 27 likes. So please, on the way in, hit that like. It tells the algorithm that you guys actually like what I'm doing. And then it forces them to try to push my materials a little bit more. Okay. So, but if not, hey, I'm not going to cry over it. Then just share the videos. Guys, I do not take down my lives. You can see all my lives. If you go to my main YouTube webpage, drop down to the playlists, all of my lives are there. So you guys can always find them. Mad respect for you. Prayers, positive, and love headed your way. Mouse 83, thank you. Especially for my family. This actually is the week that my mother passed away a couple of years ago, on the 5th. So it is a little rough for me. So I just like to take some downtime to relax, and I'm no longer like just overly distraught over it, but it's still my mom was my rock and my storm. So if any of you guys have lost a parent or you're in good position with your parents, just appreciate them before they're gone, because once your mom and dad are gone, like mine, it's like a whole different world. And about 5 years ago, I was going to 1.5 funerals every month for a year straight. So the universe has been a little rough on me, to say the least. Aaron Hall, what's going on, brother? Brother Big Bad. Oh, man, I appreciate you always. First time catching a live. Thank you for all you do. I learned so much. Sakaya 831. What's going on? Appreciate you. Thank you for that's why I try to get on a little earlier, because most people have been like, yeah, I always keep missing your live. So I try to do Sundays and Mondays when I'm not spending time with my little family, my lady, my peoples, and drinking a little bit, tossing one back. Have you done research on real money, and what do you think? It's a legitimate method. So real money is gold, silver, commodities like that. Okay. Otherwise known as lawful money. And the government does, I don't know. I don't remember if they currently still make lawful money. I know the remedy is there, but generally they operate under legal tender. And legal tender is just, it's the money, the cash we have in our pocket. And because it doesn't have any intrinsic value. So you can't go and redeem gold for it. So it's not real money. So, but real money would be called lawful money. And it's gold, silver, or something backed by that. One of my cousins actually gave me, somebody made some money and it's covered in gold foil. That's actually considered lawful money because it's made with gold. Aaron Hall, hopefully you're still knocking them down, brother, out there. I know you are. Sent a 15103, and it's like they ignored it. They probably haven't even processed it yet. Okay, they probably haven't even got to it. And because so many people are starting to do that, the collection centers are like losing their shit, because they're like, they don't tell the collection centers how to really process the 15103. So with mine, they sent it to their legal department / frivolous center for processing. That usually takes about 2 or 3 months because they try to figure it out. But the collection centers, they don't have access. They don't, like when I talk to them on the phone, they don't even look through their own manuals. I have to show them in their own manuals and like, hey, here's the code, here's why. And they're like, I've never seen this. Yeah, why would they teach you that? So you just keep your copy of the 15103. Then what they will usually do is when you send that in the proper way, you can't just do this and be like, oh, I'm just not going to pay taxes. You have to have that document. You have to update your HR department. Then when the HR department stops taking taxes with your 15103, from there forward, now you're tax exempt at that employer. You got a new job, new employer, You have to fill out another one over there. If you're buying something, you're not tax exempt because that's a different process in commerce. There's a different way to be tax exempt with that. So when they ignore it, what they're doing is they're walking away from the claim. You want them to ignore it. You want them to not say anything back to you because that is tacit acquiescence or tacit agreement by acquiescence. So you have not responded. So you have walked away from the table first and from your claim. Mike Anthony, appreciate you with the 20. A little 20 around here. I appreciate you. Let's see what else we got in the comments section. Also, county created birth certificate for my son. When I refused it, am I fighting a BS-CPS case? So turn it around on them and ask them what document they have that you signed that gave them legal authority over your offspring. Do not refer to your offspring as a child because they own the word child. They own the word family. Child Protective Services, they own it. Family Court, they own it. It's a product of the state. So you're telling them if they do not have a contract, then they're trying to force slavery, and that's a federal offense. You having the birth certificate for your son, your offspring, gives you the master title over your offspring. Ask them if they have a higher title. Otherwise, they will be met with a lawsuit and all of the power of the Constitution. I didn't sign anything that gave you, the CPS, jurisdiction over my offspring as the biological mother, not the informant, the biological mother. And if they can't produce that, then we have no agreement because anything done, if they're forcing you, it's slavery. If they're forcing you without paying you, it's peonage. Those are all federal offenses. So tell them to produce that. Otherwise, you are informing them of your right to privacy and that they have you're giving them an order to cease and desist. Form 56. Form 56 is when you are acknowledging somebody or a legal person or entity to be the fiduciary or financial responsible person over your estate, which is your name in all capitalized letters, which is what you are already. You do not have to use a Form 56. I know a lot of people made that popular. I even talked about it. You already have that as a right. All these things I'm talking about, guys, we already have them. We just didn't know how to emphasize them. So, but when you actually do a Form 56, you can then stand on their necks and say, look, you can't take my money. I, as the living person, have a Form 56. Show me your Form 56. You're trying to administer my estate and you have no documents. You're trying to administer my offspring. You have no documents. You have presumption, not to be perverted or weird. But if I go out to a bar, I can assume I can talk any girl out of her panties. And I have. But that is an assumption. I cannot actually assume that I can do that with every single one, and it's going to work. So they're assuming that you don't know the law, you don't know how to defend yourself or enforce it. So if you don't fight back, then you just basically gave them your money, your kid, your whatever. Now, if you are receiving a benefit from them, they have the right to inquire upon you these requests. But like in her case, you can say, well, what benefit are you providing me, CPS? I didn't ask you for anything. We don't have a contract. Everything that they do has to be a contract, and they have to have you sign it. No signature, no contract. If I didn't agree to it, that's an assumption. You're trying to kidnap or child traffic. Call the sheriff, call the marshal. They're trying to child traffic. Let your district attorney know. The land patent guy has left us. Is that correct? Yes. Ron Gibson, God rest his soul. has passed away. And the Mouse 83, thank you. I've worked very hard to try to be the best man and gentleman that I can. Hopefully I'm doing my mom proud. Though I'm not perfect, but I appreciate that. Question: Florida need EIN for a state using same Social Security for trust. IRS changed Social Security for both. I'm not fluent with Florida personally, but it is best generally to get an estate number for your name so that you can control it. That's generally what you're supposed to do when somebody passes away, which I didn't know when my father passed away. To control all of those things, I should have just gotten an estate number instead of, like, that's really all it is at the end of the day. It's getting an estate number. Somebody passes away, you get an estate number. Generally, you need their death certificate. You get an estate number. You control all of it. So control it. A Florida resident. You are not a Florida resident. You are a Floridian who also has citizenship. 8 USC 1401A or 8 USC 1101A 22A and B, or just B for me. But so yes, resident means you resided or they resed your identity. So, but your God-given natural standing is you are a Floridian who also by law was given U.S. citizenship. You are not their property unless you choose to be. Can you buy a land patent as an immigrant? Asking for a friend. Anybody can access anybody's land patent online by going to the Bureau of Land Management or the Land Management Bureau, whatever it's called, one of the two. You can get one. Anybody can get one. They're free. But you can't execute the claim unless you can show that you're on the property. But yes, you can get a land patent. You can also buy land, and when you buy land, you are then entitled to a certain level of citizenship. Education speaking. Ghost Dowell Manual, can you say the name again? The manual for me? Man, I talk so fast, my brain moves 1,000 miles a minute. Are you talking about the GPO style manual? So it's G as in God, P as in Paul, O as in octopus, GPO style, STYLE manual. You type that in, it'll take you to the Department of State, I believe. Yeah, Department of State. Then you can choose 2000, 2008, 2016. They really should come up with a new one sometime soon. The new one's needed. Any of those, and you can find in section 5.23 what I was talking about. But the whole thing is interesting to read by itself. I've been using my passport in lieu of the real ID. Yes. Oh, yeah. Because the passport is really the national ID. See, they don't issue a national ID because apparently not enough of us have been asking for a national ID. What is a national ID? If you're born in Florida, your ID should say Floridian. That it has standing in law under GPO style manual, section 5.23. It has its own stuff. Now, when these cockamamie Martian mud monkey motherfuckers talk about, oh, sovereign citizen, there's no such thing. The term sovereign citizen has no standing in law. They cannot prosecute you under that slang N-word, because that's what it is. Sovereign citizen is the N-word for legal. What they're saying is you are a U.S. citizen from their perspective. They have control over, but you're trying to be free and use your private rights, and you're either doing it wrong and they don't like it, or you're doing it right and they don't like it. That's where they come up with that term legally, but it has no standing. They cannot prosecute you as that because they don't own the word. It has no standing in law. And if it had standing in law, then they'd have to say that it is recognized. They do own it, and they can prosecute you. But why would they prosecute you underneath something that is then legally theirs? Come on now. You are welcome, Miss Lady. As a member of my family who applied, who's a green card holder, he was rejected at the passport and told he needed to become a citizen. Well, what it is like I was saying earlier, you're going to have to either take the citizenship test, which gives you your nationality and your citizenship, or you're going to have to still take the test and pass it through what they call the physical presence test, okay, or the continual presence test. All right. Other than that, yeah, they're not generally just going to give it because you're legally not entitled to it unless you prove with all of the information that you've been here long enough, et cetera, et cetera. If the ens legis is a fictional entity on paper and I hold an original certificate of citizenship, wouldn't that make me the beneficiary? Yeah, that's what they don't want you to know, Mr. Picard. What they don't want you guys to know is that your birth certificate is your document and your control over the straw man. This is what all these people out there either don't know or haven't been telling you on their platforms because they want to milk you out of money and all this other crazy stuff. Just like with the lady with her offspring, that birth certificate, they gave us everything we needed. They gave us control and title to the straw man. It's the damn birth certificate. I didn't realize this until basically this year, and I started talking about it, putting in my videos a little bit here and there. The birth certificate is the title. If you have a title to your car, you have what? Ownership. They gave it to you. But here's the catch, though. They almost always want your original ones because that's the real power and money. They then give you the certificate of, which is the mock version of the original. So if I deal with the state of Michigan, right? State of Michigan is like, oh, beautiful baby James C. Lovett here. No, the heirloom with the baby feet print on there, don't worry about that one. We'll take that. Print over here. The certificate of live birth, the hospital issues also, we'll take that one too. And then we'll issue you back 2 birth certificates from the state of Michigan. Those are your applications to being a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. These were your creations of the 14th Amendment legal person, your straw man. They then gave you those documents. Those documents control the straw man. The ones that are called the heirloom with the baby footprint, even hell, the certificate of live birth, the long form, that controls the living man. That is your claim to the living man. That's why they want those. The state created ones are the control over the straw man. They gave us everything we needed. We just didn't know what we had. We did not know. We now know. EIN on a trust makes the trust property of the IRS, offshore private trust instead. So if you combine a normal trust, okay, if you combine a normal trust with a normal EIN, yes, that is correct. But you can apply for an unincorporated or an irrevocable EIN for your irrevocable trust or your entities. There are ways to put it under. So you're not putting it under the IRS because the government has to give you an ability to operate private. That's why you should get an unincorporated association EIN for your irrevocable trust. But yes, Gmail, you are absolutely right. What's good, Wolf? How are you and the family? Thank you, Goat. Well, as I just said, my mom passed years ago this week. Me and my immediate family, my lady and her daughters are good. My son is still missing. He has been kidnapped by his biological mother somewhere in California. Only recently, after 2.5, almost 3 years now, have we located them. And so that has been an ongoing thing. Otherwise, everybody else is good, healthy, and safe. So I appreciate you asking. Mystery says, my condolences. Thank you. Thank you very much. Their wife was given a passport, the DSN, and got it quick with your advising. So thank you. So don't quote me on this, okay? But if you are a U.S., or let's say if you're here and you've married a U.S. citizen, by the laws, you are then entitled to a passport, because when you marry a U.S. citizen, you're also getting their nationality. And after 5 years, they are supposed to recognize that, educationally speaking. Boo says, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure she's proud of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What's going on, Joel? God bless. Praise and respect to the creator of the universe, and to all of you guys. Positive energy and light. First thing I do when I watch a video from someone I trust their information. Financially struggling, so at least I can do is like the video. If there's anything I can do with money, if I can't do anything without money, depending on where you're at, Miss Lady, I have videos where I talk about how to find and use the various churches provide money, grants, food assistance. Sometimes people go, yeah, but I don't need food. I need this. Yeah, but okay. Look at it from a business perspective. If you're saying you don't need food, get food from the free food pantries, churches, county programs, state programs, city programs. Contact your city hall, ask them what programs they have for single mothers or struggling this or whatever anybody might be. Ask them. They have programs. They give away money for this. They're not going to come and find you. You got to go to them. But once you do that, then what you do is you don't then spend your money on food. You get the free food and save your money and spend it on other things, appropriate things. I'm sure you're good, but that's how you do it. You have to think outside of the box. As somebody who's used these programs, as somebody who hustled, as somebody who lived on the street, there was a time where I was sleeping on lawns. I was sleeping in people's bushes and trees. I didn't have much. I ate the same meals. I mean, I'm still not rich by any means. It's going to be like another 15 years before I can consider myself to have really good money. But yes, I've gone through those things. Miss G said, I lost my mom this month too. Yeah, and mine, and I'm sorry, but prayers and condolences to you as well. It's the holiday, that slide into the holiday season, it's either all good for people or it's all bad. And up until the last year or two for me, with my lady helping me to she's been helping me a lot, we'll just say, it's always been bad. We never had money for gifts, but we had each other. We had good meals. We had a roof over our head. We almost never really missed a meal. We had ate food we didn't necessarily want, but we were fed. But it was always like seeing other people have like gifts and getting like I've never in my life received like more than like 3 gifts from a person. And like I'm seeing people with like 15 gifts, 20 gifts. The next day they wake up and open more. And I'm like, I didn't even know it could be like that. I'm just a North Side boy. I'm real smart, and I was just born basically in the hood. And then I used all that, and my mom was very smart too, so she moved us out of the hood. And then I had the ability with a number of neighbors who were white males who kind of took me in under their wing, and they would give me books and they would teach me, some of which now I teach you guys. So, you know, that's my real life. I don't hide nothing, man. You guys can ask me anything. I don't really hide any of that stuff. I don't believe in it. Like, I don't need to lie. I'm not afraid of anybody for those reasons. Some things are personal. I might be like, yeah, no, this is just for me and my lady or me and my kid or whatever. But I'm 98% of the rest of it, I don't care. You can ask me all that stuff. It doesn't bother me. Let me share. After a prayer to God, impossible things have changed over 88 times. All right, Joel, appreciate you. Read the Several Coinage Act. All of the government is a criminal enterprise. They're a foreign entity who is supposed to be operating here on our behalf. but they themselves are not American. Correct. I have to say it the legal way, but what you said is also correct. I got terminated after clocking out due to mental illness, mental issues, had no prior attendance, retaliation during this, and the company has evidence. So you're going to sue them for unlawful termination. Okay, you're going to sue them for unlawful termination. Talk to your EEOC, Equal Opportunity, as well, because anytime they fire you, they have to give you remedy. They have to give you a way to cure the problem. They didn't give you a way to cure the problem. And in this case, if it was mental illness and you went to, you have any documentation from a hospital or whatever else, that then stands as your fact. Okay. And that is then a medical reasoning. You had a medical event. You didn't plan for it. You weren't like, let me use this Men in Black mind neural disruptor. And then you just weren't at work. You didn't do that. Okay. And I'm not making fun of it. I'm just using that as an example. You didn't plan that event. That was an act of God, and it was a medical situation. So sue them, get your money and be good, especially if they're a bigger company. Oh yeah. Thank God. Thank you. Yeah. I've helped people get out of living in their cars. And if you want, email me later. We can talk about some other things not on here. We can go into detail a little bit more. I will always try to help people to some degree. I have no problem. As long as it doesn't interfere with me and what I got with my family and all that. Yeah, if I can do it. I mean, that's why I do these videos. And let me just say it like this. All of my videos, you guys can learn and create your own channels or turn it into a business and help other people with this. It's not just even here in the United States that this is going on. It's worldwide. The whole world is your market with this information. You just have to have a hustle. You start small until you can get big. Oh, I forgot. When I sent an IRS, I put a 2-cent stamp and autographed it diagonal across from the back and used postal give them my seal. Yes, because everything that you're doing there are just additional ways to tell them you don't have jurisdiction over me. And the holder in due course. Correct. Yes. Just have to talk. I'm gonna talk at him. I'm gonna talk. I'm finna talk. Fire. What's going on, Sylvia? Appreciate you. I've seen that name pop up before. I recognize a lot of your names, but some of them are new, which is good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, another thing, Miss Lady. Go to, and almost anybody can do this, men or females. Go to usa.gov. usa.gov. Go right now, and you're going to see a whole clip on there when it says, it'll say like benefits, grants, and whatever else. Click that tab. You're going to see one that says for women. Boom, a whole drop list, all this other stuff. So search for programs with the government on usa.gov. Search for programs in your area. If you're hungry, whatever state you're in. So let's say I'm in Illinois, right? So if I'm hungry right now, I'm going to type in state of Illinois food programs, county of Illinois food programs, city of Peoria food programs, foundation food programs, grants in my area for food shelters, food programs. Now, if you get that food, then you don't have to spend the money on buying food. And I don't know the legalities of utilizing more than one food pantry, but I would just get what I can get. Now, if you read the fine print, they say you can't be party to more than one at one time. Okay, but understand, if they're a private church or private food pantry, you're accepting food on the private side. That's none of their business. If you're getting it from a county or state program, those are two separate jurisdictions, educationally speaking. So use them. And especially with the whole EBT cutoff and whatever else, there's going to be a lot of people. So go and find those places now before the stampede starts. Are you going to leave this vid up? It's valuable and I want to rewatch it. Yes. As I said earlier, All of my YouTube live videos are always, always, always up. I don't necessarily know what we're gonna talk about and flow into and put that as the name, but they're always up. Go to James C. Lovett, or what is it called now? Bad Wolf Unincorporated. So YouTube, The Bad Wolf, or Bad Wolf Unincorporated. Drop down to the playlist, scroll all the way over to the right or wherever it is, and you'll find two things. One list that when you click that tab, it'll say live, and you'll see all of my lives in there. Watch them. There's fire ass information. Some stuff in there I normally keep for my paid videos on jameslovett.com are in those lives. I give a lot of stuff away free, guys. I still have to make some money, but I give a lot of it away for free. And next to that is a search window or search bar. And if you type in like IRS, it'll then bring up all of my videos on the YouTube main page that I've talked about IRS stuff. All right. So help me so I can help you help yourself with help more. I found the Ohio statutes and UCC codes that enable me to reclaim my MCO. So now my automobiles are in a private trust and I do not have a driver's license, and Ohio does not like it. Laughing out loud. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what else you can? Oh, yeah. If you found their statutes, which would be under non-resident registration. Yeah, of course they don't like it because they fear you're going to tell other people what you did. And then guess how many people are then going to not drive legally? They're going to travel lawfully. The word drive and driver is commercial. And so unless you're doing Uber or DoorDash, that's commercial. But you going to work, you coming home, you going and picking me up and going and grab a beer or some chicken wings like I usually do on Thursday nights, is not commercial. That's their dirty little secret. Some of them know that, but not all of them do. So most cops don't know this. But I've had cops come to me in my consultations, in my seminars, and they ask me about this. And they're, can I be tax exempt? Can I do right to travel? And I tell them, here's how you have to do it. Because when you join the police, when you join being a postal worker, when you join being a lawyer, when you join anything where you deal with the public and you're paid by the government or a state government, you are a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You cannot just straightforward not pay taxes or other things. The laws actually say they're the only ones who are supposed to pay taxes. But I know how to deal with that legally. So I have helped these police officers and other people who are nice to me get their rights and freedoms. It's tax avoidance. All these things you can avoid. There's a remedy for everything out there. What if you accept the benefit and sign that right away? So if you accepted a benefit and you signed your right away, your rights have not completely gone, but you are in a contract. So they still cannot take away your constitutional rights. So you guys really need to read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. You really need to read those. But with that agency you have signed, depends on what you want to do. You want to get out of the contract? I can show you how to do that. We do consultations on that. If you can find any imperfections or anywhere where the wording in that contract violates your private rights, the contract goes away. But if you are happily enjoying the benefit or privilege of that contract and then operating by your own free will and accord as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, you are subject to the agreements of it because you're receiving the benefit. This is why when you have a bank account and you receive interest in it, they can yank your money. How do I know that? They did it to me 3 times over the years. Because when I signed up, I checked off U.S. citizen on the application for the bank. I then also got bamboozled because it sounded good. Now it would be good, earning 4% interest. I think now it's like 0.4% or something like that, right? So guess what? If they're paying you, we'll just use 1%. If they're paying you 1%, they have to make at least 3 or 4% off of you. So they don't mind making 4% when they're giving you 1. They're making money off of your money just sitting there. They don't like it when you ask them for a zero interest bearing account, especially for a trust, like an irrevocable trust. They absolutely hate that because they don't make any money off of it. So they talk you into that. But what does that interest do? That's a public contact. That's a hi public, hi public, hi public. And every time that happens, they can then say, well, you must be a US citizen and taxable because you keep making public contacts with your bank account. So your bank account must be public. So when we want to take money out of it, we'll just take it, even though that's a violation of your due process of law, and they can be sued for it. But they hope you are not smart enough to know that because it takes them longer. It costs them more money to do it the proper way. They're supposed to take you to federal court to take anything away from you. The states deal with 14th Amendment U.S. citizens and corporations. So legal names and corporations are all they're supposed to do in the lower court. That's what they're treating you as. But you look pretty alive to me, which means only a federal court can deny you of a right or a privilege. Anywhere else that denies you of a right or privilege under 8 U.S.C. 1503 is denial of rights and privileges as a national and is a federal offense. Which is why, you know what? Based on that, I'm going to jump into a quick, see if I still have it up. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I want you guys to take a look just because that was popped up. So let's see here. Boom. Present, share screen. Now, I made a video on this, so I'm not going to cover the whole thing, but I want you to see this. Okay. Hopefully, if I did everything right, you guys can see this screen and video. So what they did is this particular lady, Abigail Jordan, sued the Department of State because they denied her a passport because she didn't want to use her social and she didn't want to use a state-provided birth certificate. And here's the thing. She won. She won. Because a U.S. citizen has to provide those things, but you have both of those under 8 U.S.C. 1401. You're given that. You are born with your standing as a Floridian, New Yorker, Wisconsinite, Californian, Arkansan, whatever else. So when you apply to things, they have to recognize both. That's why when you fill out applications, there's that box that says U.S. citizen, alien, and then other. You were supposed to be checking off other and putting Floridian on there if you wanted to be private. Now, some things like being a cop, and I've had this, I had a viewer who was becoming a cop do this, and I said, don't do this, but he wanted to see if it was real. So he's becoming a cop, or he's the cop now. So we've got somebody on our side. And he checked off New Yorker. They lost their shit. Are you one of those sovereign citizens? Now he has the job. I told him to go back and redo it. So he did. But he was laughing because he was like, man, Wolf, you're right. He was like, I didn't believe it, man. He goes, you know your shit. And I said, yeah. But he, in that position, has to agree to being a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen because that's a public trustee, public office. He has to pay taxes. He can't use his patrol car and right to travel. Those are all public things. The law states that public things are held to accountability to the government and to the owners of the government, which are we, the people. We want to know where our money's going. We want those foreign people, those foreign agencies that come here that married into our family that ain't our blood to pay their fair share. That's why they are supposed to be on the roads paying us. That's what a CDL is, commercial driver's license. That's public. People who do public things in big trucks, U.S. citizens, those people doing business on our land. For a court-appointed attorney. I would always, okay, so the good and bad about a court-appointed attorney or a public pretender, defender. It does bring you into their jurisdiction. You've perfected it and then said legally that you're incompetent. But if you need it, use it. That's what the benefit is there for. If you can't talk like me in court, don't try to do something you're not ready for. Just use what they give you all day. Do you know how cooperative the Wisconsin DMV is when it comes to removing an automobile from the private threshold? Yeah, that I know. I've done Wisconsin many times. Do it online. Wisconsin DMV has an online portal where you put in all your information and you can transfer all of your information into a private trust in 5 minutes. Please leave this video up. I must rewatch it like 3 times. Man, before I learned this stuff, I watched it 100 times. You guys want to know some more personal details about me? Most people don't share, don't get real. I'm dyslexic as fuck. I see and read everything backwards. I used to write with my other hand, left hand, right hand. I can write with both directions. So I have to study things a number of times until my brain processes it. Once I have it, I can manipulate it. I'm good to go. But I see things backwards. So when I read, I have to tell my mind, start from the left and go to the right. Otherwise, my brain is like, other way. That's why when I was a kid, my mom put me in kindergarten because I had a speech impediment. She put me in French. They offered a French class in kindergarten. So I learned to speak French to help me speak and get over public speaking and to be able to articulate myself better. And even now, still sometimes I have to slow my speech down because my brain thinks so fast. So real talk. What Ohio statute? I want to see if Wisconsin has an equal statute. I have a suit against my state for Wisconsin. Once again, I know that one pretty good. So Wisconsin, it's legislative code 341.40 under non-resident registration. So Wisconsin legislative code 341.40 non-resident registration. That'll help you win your case or suit against them. And if you do a consultation with me, I have other goodies because I know that I know like probably 4 states really well. California, New York, Wisconsin, and Illinois, and Arkansas. But I've got property in Arkansas, so I'm down there sometimes. And they're probably one of the worst as far as that. The country is lovely, but the law enforcement are dicks. No offense to the good ones down there. All land has been patented. Correct. Okay, so that's a really long story. But I will say this. There's a lot of hidden back history of things that existed before the patent. But if you go by the storybooks, then the government lawfully bought all of the land from the Native Americans. Bullshit. And when they did, they then ceded the lands to the republic or the states. They gave them ownership of themselves to them. So every parcel of land should or ought to have a land patent. They don't like the land patent because it comes before their lot and block corporate system. The patent ensures that anybody who holds the patent owns the land completely into space above their property, completely below their land, to the center of the earth, all rights, all materials, anything whatsoever. Lock, stock, and barrel forever. Period. There's a lot of power in what I just said. I have other videos on jamesclovett.com going into some of that in depth, but there's enough there to chew on the bit that you can do a lot of things with that. In Maryland, for non-resident man, you have to redo the paperwork every couple of months. If you are a secured party, you are exempt. You don't need title registration. So yeah, the secured party way is another way because a secured party creditor. So you guys are already creditors. Okay, you're already creditors. But when you make a claim in the state's commercial portal of commerce, the UCC, you're then securing an asset in their world. And you're saying, I'm alive. I'm not a dead thing. that gives you superiority in the world of dead things that they operate. Now, as far as a non-resident, they trick you into with their words to make you believe you have to redo your paperwork in every couple months. You don't. Once you create an irrevocable trust based in the United States of America, you are always out of their jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction over America. It's a game they want you to play to wear you out. Their biggest things are threats and to wear you out. Thanks, Wolf. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you for appreciating. Help. Authenticated mine and my kids' birth certificates, listed them and mine. So find all three and passports were stolen. What agencies or steps? Damn. So you want to declare all of your passports lost by typing in "I lost my passport" on the internet, Google, or whatever else. They'll make you fill out 3 separate DS60s. You should do that, one for each one. There's not much those people can really do with your UCC filing, so that's pretty safe. Even if they have the number and see what's in it, they can't make a claim on your stuff. But you just want to inform the Department of State that they have been stolen. Usually they're not as rightful owner, title, document, the original is lost, it's right, retain all my rights and possession of property. Correct. Anytime the original document has been lost, destroyed, or wrongfully retained, you have the ability to create an original. And your original that you just created is now more powerful than any one that they have in their system. You're the beneficiary. You're the estate holder. You're the holder in due course. If they kept your MCO, you make a new one. You get it notarized. It has more powerful than anything they have. You have the rights, guys. That's what I'm saying. The power of the private is damn near unlimited as long as you don't hurt anybody. They will try to pee on your cornflakes, but you take them to court and sue them. Yes, Tanya, Miss Lady, I appreciate you. Yes, we have everything. They hide a lot of our rights, like Tanya just shared here. The good people out there in the government, the good people out there, they're working on our behalf. How do you think I got some of this information? I didn't work at the Department of State or this. There's good people in there that give me this information, leak it out. And then I research to make sure it's not a double agent on some BS. But postal, same thing. Taxes, same thing. Or other people who have gone through it. But they hide the remedies and some of the information to wake us up in various other things. Just like, we'll use the Wizard of Oz. So the Wizard of Oz, it's about Dorothy going to this all colorful land from this black and white. What is the symbology there? The symbology is that the real black and white world, which is America, is hard, it's cold, it's gritty. It's work. They transported her from being a private national in the black and white world, checkered with good and evil, light and dark, into a whimsical world where everything is pretty, but there's still danger if you don't stay on the road. And what was that road made out of? Gold. Like the gold fringe flags on the corporate US flag. Stay on the path, stay on the gold, and everything will be good, Dorothy. Go off the road and bad things might happen. And who does she meet? The Tin Man. Kind of funny because the Tin Man represents the taxpayer identification number. Something hard and cold without a heart that Dorothy could control to help her on her path to get out of Oz and back to Kansas. Do you see it? The Cowardly Lion represents the American who's a lion but acting like a pussy. Scared of everything. I'm scared of court. I'm scared of the federal government. I'm scared of other Americans. The straw man. That's on the nose. Something without a brain that Dorothy could control on her way through Oz, which is the U.S. corporation. Come on, man. Y'all see this, right? Y'all got to see this. Y'all, but once again, this is some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about on Bad Wolf Unrestricted. So join me on my other YouTube channel. I'm going to be going in. All right. The hospital refused to give me the certificate of live birth for my offspring, and the baby footprint was stolen. Depending on how long ago that was, ask them to produce give you the long form. If they don't have it, you make your own. If they don't have it, then contact the county that it happened, because they should have a copy. County doesn't have it, contact Vital Statistics for the state. They'll have it. I'm new to your channel. Been looking at your website with courses on your website. Which would you recommend someone new to start for this info? Okay, so I've got two websites. One is new, one is old. The new one is jamesclovett.com. That has specific hardcore living in the private courses for taxes and property and firearms, all that stuff. The blacksite32.com has information, but that does not really, it's for people who already kind of have an understanding of what's going on. So I would tell you to go on blacksite32, go to my free document page, one, there's two of them, go to one, scroll down and find where it says Judge Dale PDF. There's three of them, three different editions. There's 5 total, but I don't have the other 2. Download and read those 3 things. Then do your own research. Watch all of my videos from way back in 2014 or 18 or whatever it was, and then watch those videos all the way up to today, and you will have educated yourself up to my current level of overstanding with this knowledge, because it's all in the videos. Don't buy anything until you know what you need. Almost none of that stuff is there for you just to buy it and you're magically in there. Maybe one day I'll write a book step by step, but it's all in the videos. Okay. Don't pay tons of money for anybody's stuff. Search it out. Even my stuff. A lot of that stuff you guys can find out there for free if you read through all these books. That's why I have all of these books. All I did is read these books, put it all together, made it easier for you guys to work and find, and then the cross-reference. But you still have to do that part. It's also convertible options, futures, which mean and have futures rights. Yes, also true. Yeah, you guys are getting it. You guys have a lot of good information. You guys are someone that received Medicaid is considered a benefit. It is a benefit, but you're paying for it. So it's not a true benefit that like you didn't bring anything to the table and you're just asking for it. So they can't use that to claim complete control and govern your life. But it is a benefit, but you're entitled to it because you've paid into it. So it's not the same. The Catholic Church also has to be part of the trust since it has the keys, says the KV. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Matter of fact, Tanya, I can tell you exactly what it is. The Vatican, okay, the church is co-owner of the District of Columbia. The Vatican, the City of London, and the King of England are all co-owners of the District of Columbia, and they hold the seat of the United States Corporation. So, yep, you can also look up the Cesta KV Act of 1666. Can't make this up. And look that up, read that document, and you'll see exactly what's going on today. They list almost all of it right out in that document. Are you saying there's more than a state's birth certificate we should acquire? If so, how? Oh, yeah, I've already made tons of videos on that. So when you're born, quick version, the first thing they take after the baby comes out of the womb is they take the bottom feet, and in the old days, they would ink stamp it. Now they just digital scan it, right? They have those there. Don't let them fool you. The church people who want those and take those from and buy those from the hospital, the other information is also sent out and they make money on those. I already made videos on that. I think I titled that "How Much Are You Worth" or something like that. That document, they refer to it as the heirloom or the souvenir. It's not heirloom and it's not souvenir. Heirloom really means like an honorary thing for the family, and that's kind of true, but it is the master live birth document. How can I prove that? I'm glad you asked, because the hospital makes you pay cash for that, and then if you don't, they hide it, don't offer it, squirrel it away. That is the Willy Wonka ticket to your living real person. You want those, pay the money for it. But when you don't ask for that, they offer you a receipt of the transaction, and that one is called the certificate of live birth. So let's look at the name. Certificate, to be made formal. That's what that means. Okay. Of, you're not getting the real thing. Live birth. So if it's a certificate made formal of something that is not the real thing, so it's a certification of not the real thing. So it's a certificate of not the real thing. So it's not a so it's a made formal mock version of the real live birth document. Keyword live birth. So this is a certification of what? Of the live birth. So where's the live birth document? It's the heirloom one. It's the souvenir one. Why do you think it's the most important thing? The first thing you do is take that baby out, and you know they love to put the into your offspring right away, but they do the foot thing first. That must mean there's some importance in that process you don't know about. That's the real live birth document, but they don't call it that. That's obfuscation. They're hiding it. They don't want you to have that one. The Vatican allegedly gets those and pays for those. The hospital then offers you the certificate of that live birth. And then the state says, well, we want some of that ass too, boy. And then the lady comes in, slithers in and says, oh, beautiful baby boy, beautiful baby girl. Aw. Oh, by the way, the state of New York, I'm sorry, what was that? The state of New York, what? The state of New York says, by law, there's no law. The state of New York says you have to register. There's no law to register my child. That would be slavery. I don't take part in slavery. But go on. So we need one of your certificate of live birth. So why does the state need one of my live births? And what are they going to do with that? Oh, well, they'll issue you, don't worry, 2 birth certificates back. Okay, well, hold on. The hospital called the first one, heirloom or souvenir. The hospital, you're now giving me 2 certificate of live births. So a mock document of the first one. First one has the most power. Okay, go on. And now the state wants to give me 2, but I have to give them one of these certificate of live births so they can give me 2 of their documents, now called a birth certificate. Well, in the word birth certificate, they don't mention the word live on there because they're creating a legal person. Your doppelganger. The Bible says, am I my brother's keeper? The placenta is your doppelganger. It's your fraternal twin. Didn't make it. It's water. It's gelatinous. They deal in water, admiralty, maritime jurisdiction. They're giving you control over the estate of your dead twin, and you're administrating it. You should have only been the beneficiary, but they made you the trustee because you don't know what you're doing. You're incompetent. You got to be 18. You never told them you were competent. So at whatever age you are, you're still incompetent. My word, my babies were kidnapped. I pray you have already found them. I pray that's awesome. Yeah, well, mine is unfortunately not kidnapped by the state, but by his mother. And that mother is being protected by, let's just say, certain legal agencies because they don't like what I do here for you guys. So that's my penance in this, is that she's being protected by certain powers that be. What if a man is a state citizen, non-citizen national? Can my foreign wife still get the passport? If you are married to her, you're claimed. Why do you think they ask him in the passport on number 11, U.S. citizen, yes, no. And are you married to whoever? Because by law, if she's married to you and she's foreign, she, after 5 years, educationally speaking, do your own research. I recommend American Jurisprudence book AC 3C or 3A. And you can then petition to say, well, she deserves it because she's been here long enough and she's married to me. Because when you marry a national and a citizen, they get your nationality and citizenship. Doobie doobie doo 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 doo. All right, guys, I'm about to wrap it up in probably another 10 or 15. It's time for me to get some grub. Rub a dub dub. I'm in North Carolina, and I'm a tenant to property my grandparents inherited. So you're a tenant. Okay, I get that. To me, I have a car that needs to be repaired that sits in the driveway. New York code officer says it's a violation. If your property is owned by your family or you and it's private, unless the owner of it says it's a violation, you have to move it. It's not city property. All you have to do is respond back to them and say, what contract do we have that you have the ability to be on private property? Now, let's say it's an apartment building, and those are generally considered to be commercial. Anything more than, depending on your state, anything 4 or more could be considered commercial. Okay, I can work with that too. So what you're then going to say is, well, the owner of the property, can you show me the owner? Can you show me the contract that the owner of this property has with the city that allows you to come onto this still yet private commercial property that gave you permission to write me anything about a violation? And if not, I'm going to sue you for attempting to defraud me. Lawsuit. I have been charged $700, $100 per day until I handle. How do I go about dispute of what resources? Oh, is that for the, so you send them a bill for fraud and lack of contract, and then you take them to small claims court. I'm saying instead I put like causes I can't put money for you financially. Email me. We may be able to work out something. So just email me, and we'll see what we can do. And or else I can just shoot you an email on what you can do. So just email me your scenario. I don't generally answer a whole lot of emails anymore for free, but for your particular scenario, I'll take a look at that. I do have other videos already talking about how to do these things, but I'll work with you in this particular case. I'll make an exception. I appreciate it. Miss MMC. What's going on, Miss Lady? How are you feeling? Oh, I know that feeling. Yeah, the government is the opposition, the debtor. Yeah, well, even the word government, govern means to control, and ment is mind. It's mental. So what are they really governing? How can I schedule a consultation? Black Site 32, my friend. Yo, dropping those gems. We are the creditor. Living beings are the creditor. Nothing. The true definition of a creditor is a living being. A dead thing does not. This piece of paper will never in a billion years get off the table and do any work. It cannot be a creditor. It can hold credit. The people who govern it can say that it is the creditor, but it's not. Anybody can make a claim. I can say that I'm an alien from a mystical world called Eternia, and my species are known as the Elohim. I can make that claim all day. It doesn't make it true. Or does it? But no, only living beings are the creditors. They hold our credit and then distribute it back to us and call themselves a creditor. Or they switch chairs on us, turn us into the debtor, but we're not dead. And according to the government, we have unlimited credit. Hi, Bad Wolf. What do you do if a bank closed all of your credit cards while making payments on time? Well, they do have the ability in your contract. So I would try to get a copy of your original agreement paperwork with them. And if they did it in a violation, then you sue them for it. Yeah, I just talked about that. Black Site 32 for all that. Is it possible to use the United States of America as a country when authenticating your birth certificate? No. Condolences and thank you. No, because the United States of America has been blindly and legally converted into a Hague country. So you can't use the U.S. corporation or the United States of America. They have gone Hague because we were all asleep at the wheel. They brought us into their BS Hague convention. So now what you have to do is use a country like Egypt to authenticate your documents. Assign birth certificates back to the, well, yes, you can, but Tanya, my rebuttal to that is true. But keep in mind that they monetized those birth certificates. Everybody's birth certificate, especially if you're over the age of 18, is worth between $50,000 and $50 million in credit. Now, I'm not saying I know exactly how to get it. I have made videos on the theory of it using the QSIP, that mysterious little number that's on your birth certificate and various other documents. Not all states do it, apparently. So, yes, you can sign it and turn it back over to them, but I really don't want to give them that much credit. Even if I don't know how to get it, I would prefer to keep it. Because if I ever figure it out in the future, I'm going to cash that some bitch in. All right. Unincorporated by Shaw. Okay, so unincorporated, you may have even driven through towns that said unincorporated county, unincorporated township. Unincorporated is their word, their way of saying private. If you create an unincorporated association, you're saying, I don't owe the state, I don't owe the government taxes, I don't owe you nothing. I'm private, I'm independent. That's why when you go through some of these towns that say unincorporated, they've got shitty little roads. They got one cop who doesn't give a fuck, because only the money that you spend in that little town, they then put to their own stuff. But almost all the cities and counties that you guys live in are incorporated. They went corporate. They sold out from America. They're now getting the money. Unincorporation, they have to do it themselves. They're American. They're struggling. So spend money in those little towns. Spend heavily. Tell them you know what they're doing and you appreciate them. All the rest of them, yeah, they have all that stuff. They make money off the stuff you buy. They make money from you sitting there. They make money because you registered your house into their program, which there's no law that requires you to do that. All money is debt. Yes, because it is owned by the Federal Reserve, printed by them, and that is not an American company. It's family owned. It is a legal tender. It is not backed by money. It is fiat. Okay, yeah, if you want, I think there's about a week and a half left of consults before I go on my little holiday. And yeah, Black Site 32. I would say get those in as soon as possible because it's going to be about a month and a half before I get back in the office. Yeah, hell yeah, it's stressful as all hell because everybody you talk to, if they're not already in on this, they are, like Morpheus said, so addicted to the very system that you are freeing that they will fight you and keep you from freeing their mind. I didn't believe any of this was real. Everybody thinks, oh, the wolf must have, I wasn't born with a gene for the private side. I didn't know nothing about it. Matter of fact, as a Boy Scout, and I still have my Boy Scout book right here. Huzzah. I started learning about the difference between America and the corporation. And I had old white guys telling me this talk that I talk now. I was like, come on, man. They were like, well, aren't you a Boy Scout? I said, yeah. They're like, have you actually read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence? And I said, well, I'm familiar with it. They're like, yeah, probably as a kid. You need to read that now as a grown-ass man. I was like, well, damn, okay. I'll take your challenge, old guy. And I got something for that ass. Well, after reading all that, I was like, I may not have something for that ass, because they're talking about a lot of rights and freedoms that I don't understand why we don't have them. And then that's when I understood, because there's America. So this big bubble, right? This big bubble, whoop, that's America. It's the real land. It's de jure. It's your New Yorkers, your Wisconsinites, your Californians. It's the land. We own the land. That's America. But America in the congressional system said, well, people can do business here. So they said, we're going to create a bubble for you to do business. And anybody who joins your bubble is then in your bubble for you to control, as long as you don't violate their American rights in the big bubble. So here's the little bubble. This is a PMA, a private members association. But it's so big, it's called the public. You see what they did now? They created a business bubble. And they said anybody in here who wants to come in here can come in here or leave if they choose. It's like going to hell. You can come in if you want. You can leave if you want. Might be a little hard, but whatever. You won't worry about that now. And they said, well, how will we know those people inside that bubble? They said, that's easy. We'll call them 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. It was meant to be for black people that they were going to give a slave number to, Social Security slave number to. And we'll give them certain privileges and benefits that they're not getting from these other American things. We'll protect those people and make a lot of money on them at the same time. And then what happened was, well, some white folks were like, well, I want what the black people got. The black people were like, we're not sure what we got, but I don't know if you guys want to, you guys want to really join us in this hot tub. P. Diddy doesn't seem like he means to play. And they got in, oh, the water's nice. And then the lights went off and everything went black. And then they slowly started convincing you to then teach your kids, black, white, gay, straight, red, blue, whatever. Everybody gets it. Everybody's welcome in P. Diddy's playhouse. Or the hot tub is nice too. Might find it a little slick. In the big bubble, you are a state citizen and national under 8 U.S.C. 1401. A national under GPO Style Manual, Section 5.23. When you join that bubble and you asked for the driver's license, the bank account, the right to vote, those are all applications and contracts to being in their bubble, in their private membership association. It's a PMA. You have the right by law and code to join that. When you join that, you're waiving in the moment of that event, and as long as you stay in there, your U.S. nationality, your rights and freedoms under the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. You've joined a gang. And as somebody who used to be in one, I know one when I see one. Paid by the government for a state. Government has body notice that the postal trucks do not have license plates on them. Nobody around here notices that. 3 counties. Yeah, I actually just made a video titled No Federal, I titled it Federal Driver's License, because there isn't one. When you control and make your own thing, you don't need a driver's license. Driver's license for making money on the roads in the public. A police officer needs one. CDL needs one. The government doesn't need one, but they tell their people, just go get a driver's license. So we know that you're trained in how to operate a vehicle safely. Can we apply for the passport if we're still waiting for the green card process to end? Once again, they're going to want you to have contacted the Department of Immigration and applied for citizenship or citizenship and nationality through the continuous or physical presence test. So yeah, you can, but there's a 90% chance, unless you can really argue your case, that they're going to deny you. So I would walk through the process appropriately. All right, that is all I can do for the comments, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours. I know I was pretty close, but I'm getting hungry and my lady's blown up my phone, which means I don't want a sentence of all right. So if you guys want consultations, I still have some of those before I come back in January. I think I have like a week left. And then once they're booked, I'm going to be pulling the ability to even books. I don't want people to book unless you want to book, and then you can have first come, first serve when I come back to this if you need it. Yeah, you guys are dropping a lot of knowledge in there. I'm saying America as the continent, third eye, chakra. Yes, America is also the new Atlantis. There's a lot of things. I also want to throw a shout out to Harold. Any info on IRS protests for taxes? Go on the internet or search my YouTube video. Type in tax avoidance IRM, which is Internal Revenue Manual, and then type in 25.1.1.3.3 and watch that video. If you need more help than that, then look at my video titled 15103 James C. Lovett, revocation of election. If you need more help than that, go to jamesclovett.com, find the tax video, and watch that. Okay. And if you need more than that, then set up a consultation and I'll help you out for educational purposes only. All right, guys. I thank you. I see that you guys have some other books in there. Frank Knowles, Ex Parte. Yes, I think I've got that as a video or a book I'm going to buy. I think that's on here somewhere. See it somewhere. If not, I'll rewrite it in. But have yourselves a great night. Try to stay out of their business. There's nothing wrong with doing business as the straw man as long as you know it's a tool. They gave you a business. Use it for that. You don't want to use it? Create another business. You want that business to be taxable? Make a taxable one. You want to be tax exempt? Create a tax exempt one. That's all that you guys have to do. I'm teaching you guys how to do commerce, how to do business, how to be private. That's all we're doing here. So watch those videos on jamesclovett.com, my YouTube channel. Use my YouTube channel videos. If you go to the main page on the bottom, you click all videos, you will see, and yes, there are a lot now, all 1,500 videos, and just start cherry picking the videos, watching them, get the free files, get the paid files if you want, and just start teaching yourself, because I show you guys which books to use with all this information. So yes, if somebody says I'm a diplomat traveling in my diplomatic automobile, yes, you can create your own faith-based entity, and you can even, if you want, register it to them to have them give you diplomatic plates, or you can create your own private things. I see some Neil said, how do I get my child support case dismissed? I cannot promise you anything, but I'll say this. I have a pack on my website called Child Support Education. I would highly suggest you read that information and learn some useful techniques that may help you out with your scenario. All right, guys, it is that time. We've stayed on, I think, what, an hour, almost 2 hours now. I was going to only do an hour and a half, but I just love giving you guys this information. I love seeing that you guys, so many of you guys are already so smart on this, and you guys support me. It is mad love, guys. So stay healthy out there, stay safe, stay aware of what's going on. Take care of yourselves, love yourselves. No one's going to love you more than you love yourself. Maybe your mom, maybe your dad, but still yet take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep getting that education. Have a great day, a great holiday season. I still have a couple of videos I'm going to upload before I go completely dark, as they say. And matter of fact, right after this, I may post one on what we talked about earlier. So have a great night, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Just keep doing what you're doing. Can't stop, won't stop. I'll talk to you later.
Give